Let us see this question number 46, 1.46. You can read the question, and now let me attempt to solve this. I think this could be a doubt for many of us, but I have tried to solve it and I made one concept. I'll try to say it here. Let us see. Now, let us say that the result of the toss is head if and only if I am telling the truth. Okay, now the sentence comprises of two parts. Let us say the result of the toss is head. Let us say this as x. Okay, we need to find what is this x. Now we'll have to convert it to logical formula, which will be x bidirection, and then I am telling truth. Let us denote I am telling truth by y. Okay, so I have written it here. Let us say this is x and then this is y. Okay, let me tilt it like this. I hope it will be visible for you all. Let me keep it here. Okay, so this is x bidirection to y. Now in the case 1, if you see in the case 1 what it says, it says type 1. Let us say case 1 is type 1, in which the person always tells the truth. Okay, so case 1 where person tells truth. Okay, so tells truth. Okay, so say for example we need to find this x. Now x bidirection y should be equal to 1. Okay, because he tells truth. Now y, what is y? Y is what does he tell? What does the person tell? He says truth. Okay, he says truth. Now x bidirection y, if you solve it, then it will be xy plus x bar y bar should be equal to 1, because he tells truth. Okay, now what will be the value of y bar here? Since he tells truth, so y bar should be equal to t. Okay, let us denote this as truth t. So y bar should be false, right? Into x bar plus, let the x be x. What should be the value of y? Y should be true. This should be equal to 1. Now something multiplied with false is always false. Let us denote this by false, that is equal to 0. Now x into t, this should be equal to 1, because the right hand side is 1. This should be equal to something by which this whole becomes 1. Therefore this x into t should be equal to x, which should be equal to 1, which makes this LHS and RHS equal. Therefore what is x? The x is what should be the value of the toss. The value of the toss should be head in this case, because he tells truth, because the person tells truth in case 1. Okay, therefore it should be head. Now let us see case 2. Now let us see case 2. Let me solve it here. Case 2, it should be let me write the formula again. X bidirection y, this should be equal to false. Why? The point is, in case 2 the person always lies. He doesn't tell truth, he always lies. You can see it here. Case 2, type 2, people always lie. Okay, let us say that he lies. So x by direction y, this should be equal to 0. Now let us denote the let us expand this. This should be equal to x y plus x bar y bar, which should be equal to 0. Now the value of y bar, what should be the value of y bar? Let us write it here. Y bar. See, what does y denote? Y denote what does the person say? What does the person say? He says lies. He always lies. Therefore, this y should be equal to false, right? Then y bar should be equal to true. Here is true into x bar. RHS is 0. Now what should be x and y so that it becomes 0? What should be here? Okay, simply we can say this as something into true, or you can say this as what should the value of y? Y is false, right? So x into false. X into false becomes false. Something into false becomes false. False plus x bar into t, this should be equal to 0. So what should be the value of x bar so that whole things becomes 0? Now this part is already 0, false should be equal to 0. Now this x bar should be equal to something multiplied by 1. Something multiplied by 1 should be equal to 0. Therefore that something should be equal to 0. 0 into t should be equal to 0. Right? So x bar is equal to 0. And x is equal to 1. We denoted x is equal to 1 by calling x equal to head. Right, we can see in the question here. We can see in the question here the result of the top is head if and only if. Therefore, we can say x is head in both the cases. In both the cases. Therefore, the answer should be result is head. This is the answer.